podcast. I bring back an old guest, a dear friend in Hava, and we're going to talk about voice prints, Q4 preparations, because 'tis the season, and a brand new podcast that she's launched called I Love Your Stories. So it's going to be an exciting one. Buckle up. I got to get Instagram Live. Bear with me for a second. So Hava, second time guest. Welcome back to the podcast. And
thank you.
To be honest with you, I think you were the first artist interview. Yeah, that I think we did, which is exciting, which is awesome. But let's not assume anybody knows who you are. Give us a quick introduction to who you are, what you do, and we'll start there and we'll go from there.
All right. Hi, my name is Hava. I'm a visual artist. I paint. You can see a couple of things in the background there. My work is kind of abstract, psychedelic, very colorful, botanic, aquatic motifs inspired by nature. I am celebrating actually a 4-year anniversary with Art Storefronts.
Amazing.
I joined exactly 4 years ago, and launched on September 1st of 2001. So
wow.
it's
kind of literally to the day almost.
Yeah. So that's been my journey for the past 4 years. I've been an artist. I got my master's of fine art in 1999. So wow. I've been making art professionally ever since, but really sort of put it in, like, turbocharged it 4 years ago. And a year and a half ago, I quit my day job, and I've been a professional artist full time since then.
Wow. And you've been here 4 years, which is essentially you've been through college. You've been through college already.
I'm in grad school now.
you're in grad. Well, there's no graduates technically in the particular college that is trying to grow an art of photography business. No graduating, because the learning never stops, right? It never can stop, because these damn digital marketing platforms change every other 30 seconds. Which I've been ranting just a tremendous amount about recently. But independent of that, what I figured we would do is we'll talk a little bit about the voice print and articulate on that. I'm curious, selfishly, if you're getting value out of it and if you're using it. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about you getting ready for Q4, what you're going to do differently, how you're going to ramp up this year versus last year, because the busy holiday season is coming. My job, independent of having a wonderful conversation with you and promoting your podcast, is to make sure everyone listening within the range of this voice and or video takes Q4 seriously. So I've got a huge agenda, and then we'll get right into your podcast. I love your stories, which is super, super exciting. But let's start with the voice print. I'll tee it up. And so we have this new product at Art Storefronts that I created called Voice Prints. And it is a way to get the chat bots, the LLMs, whether you're using Art Helper or whether you're using ChatGPT, Grok, Claude, Gemini, whatever, any of them, to sound like you. Hava is a glutton for punishment internally and always willing to go down these crazy rabbit holes with us. So we made an initial one for her, and she actually did like the most advanced level up of it, which was, the phone interview, which we don't need to go into that. But I'm curious, have you been using it? Do you feel like it's helping? How often are you using it?
Okay, it's been a game changer. First of all, I was just dabbling in it up until now. And I would say, yes, I've been using Art Helper to help me generate SEO and keywords and things like that, help me just tighten up my descriptions, help me do the blogs and posts. But there was still tweaking. I would say they're much better than what Gemini used to do for me, but there was still tweaking, and it was still kind of it worked, but I was dabbling. And then we did this voice print, and that was just astounding. What I did is you created this file for me, and I uploaded the file to both Gemini and ChatGPT.
Did you just use them normally in the chat, or do you do like that whole put them in a project and then save the project?
So when I did them, I didn't even, I wasn't that good of a user. But and Gemini, I kind of stopped using it because ChatGPT just worked better in this regard. What I did is I uploaded a couple of my images and asked ChatGPT to create like an artist statement based on those two images. And then I also did the same thing after I uploaded the voice print. And I mean, I could tell right away that one of them just really sounded like me talking. It sounded like the concepts that I want to come across, like want to get across, like the artist statements that I've used and so on. And then you had me do this really fun thing, which is bring both of them into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to sort of compare them. And it went through and like showed me like just like how much better it sounded. And I've been using it ever since. And so one of the things I'm actually trying to do, because I know that you guys introduced a chat feature to Art Helper as well.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to put the file in there. Maybe I'm not doing it right. But what I have done is I asked ChatGPT to create like just a text document for me based on my voice print. And I've been feeding that to Art Helper.
Yeah, no, so that's totally wrong. I'm messaging Francis right now.
Okay. That's yeah. So, it's some things. I listened to your podcast about prompts, and I think maybe it was an older one because, like, how you're saying things change really fast.
Oh, so fast.
Yeah, but you were talking about how you can get the AI to give you prompts, like suggest the best prompts based on. So I was kind of trying to use that technique, but maybe, if there's a better one, that's even better. The point is, I now just, I do this thing where whatever I'm doing, whether I'm editing my Copilot scheduled posts, and so I tell it, like, in my voice, this is the artwork, tie in this holiday or tie in the sale. And it just, I mean, I read it and it sounds like something I would write, but it would take me so long to write something like that.
It's the whole ball game. It's like
so long. Or and I have it generate like fun hooks for my reels just by giving it like a screenshot of the video I'm going to post and some sort of direction. And it's made it so like, and I feel like the more I do it, the more it kind of like learns.
Yeah.
It gets better and better. And I've been using it nonstop. I would like to start using a Art Helper in that way. I just haven't been able to transfer the voice print correctly, I guess.
By the time this interview's over, it'll be in there. And it's so much more important to have the thing run in the background. And again, just to clarify, so the notion of a voice print goes to the heart of the biggest problem that we all have with AI in today's day and age, which is you have this big, massive PhD, smartest ever brain, and I'm talking about all of them, it doesn't matter which one, that starts from scratch every single solitary time. And the analogy that I use that everyone seems to get immediately, it's like Drew Barrymore's character in 50 First Dates, right? Like you constantly have to set the context again every single solitary time. And that's a huge waste of time. Like you want to hit the ground running, not like, hey, my name's Hava, let me tell you about myself. Instead of the thing going, hey, Hava, nice to see you again. We were working on this last time. Do you want to start working on it again? It speeds things up just immeasurably. But where I really want to see you start using it is now that you have the podcast going on, it can help you write the emails for the podcast. It can help you write the titles for the podcast. It can help you write the intro captions for the podcast. It can help you come up with anything adjacent to what you're trying to do as you're promoting that podcast. You can have all of that instantly done in your voice. And that's just a crazy, crazy thing. So I think the sooner you start doing that, the better. And then also, you do your interview and you sort of have an idea of what you think your title is going to be, but you don't know for sure. And then you get the transcribe of the podcast and your voice print, and you put both of those up, and you're like, GPT or Art Helper or Claude, whoever you're using, come up with some really catchy titles for this. My audience is artists, you know, and it will do such a better job. And I find even more than that, the brain, the cognitive load release of not having to come up with all the stuff from scratch. And it's funny because the last time I talked to you, you didn't have a podcast and we couldn't talk like this. Now, like, it's freaking hard. It's hard to like prepare for the interview. What questions are you going to ask? How is it going to be interesting? Okay, great. You go through all that time, energy, and effort. You record the thing, and then it's all done. And it's like, oh God, now I've got this other whole pile of work. Why would anyone want to do this? Right. And any of that like cognitive load that you can just take off of your plate is like a hugely important thing. So anyway, it's saved for you in Art Helper now, so you can go play with that after the fact. Francis told me.
I have been using it to help me do the intros. In fact, in the last ones, because it took me forever to do them ahead of that. But now, when I'm finished with the interview, because it's not live, I pause and I have the guest help me jot down like 5 or 6 main topics we talked about, and then I feed that to AI and ask him to come up with like a hook and sort of and it's been amazing. My guests were like, wow.
Yeah, and it will continue to be. And it's like, you know, you guys that are listening to this, it's like I love seeing what Hava's doing, because like the constant refrain that I've had for the last 7 to 10 years and will have is like, I've never met a revenue source for artists, for creatives, that I don't like, as long as it's legal, right? And you don't find out about where your potential is for additional revenue or additional things that you can do until you start getting things in the water. Right. And now you're getting this whole new thing in the water, and who knows where the podcast journey is going to go for you. But my guess is it's going to open, not my guess, if you stay at it, I am extremely confident with 100% certainty that new doors are going to be opened up, that you're going to form new relationships, new bonds. Your Instagram following is going to grow. Other artists are going to start reaching out to you. Publications are going to start reaching out to you. And all of that is going to come as a result of you putting yourself out there and just going for it, you know? So it's like such an important thing to do. And why I love AI more than anything else, and a lot of people still turn their noses up at it, it's like, you can't be good at everything.
Right.
Not one person is good at all of it. There are things that you detest, despise, loathe, stress out about, overthink, let terrorize you, that you don't want to do. And what is the perfect thing to do? Just let the damn AI help you out. For the first time ever, creatives have an employee. No creatives have employees. You know, 99 out of 100 don't. And now there's one that can do this work for you. So it's like, I'm on top of everything else. Yeah, go.
Can I give you an example? Because I'm having it do research for me that I don't want to do. So here's a really great example of I got a commission. So I do these hand painted nesting dolls. Russian dolls,
the Matrushka dolls.
The Matrushka dolls. Yes. And
are you impressed? I knew that, by the way. No one knows that those are called Matrushka dolls. I was like fascinated with those when I was a kid. I'm saying it wrong. I don't know what the word is in Russian, but they're called Matrushka dolls for sure. Matroshka. That's what you said. Okay.
Yeah. I think it comes from the word matriarch.
Interesting. Yeah. Matroshka.
Yeah. So this woman reached out to me. She said she would like to commission a set of dolls. So there's 5 dolls. And she wants them to be the members of this rock band that I've never heard of, Creed.
Yeah.
I think there's some kind of like a Christian rock band or like pseudo, whatever it is. I was like, my answer, of course, was sure, I'll do it. Yeah. Let me do some research and send you some mock-ups. And so, I opened ChatGPT and I just said, this is what I need to do. And what I need from you is to give me for each of the band members, those, like, pretend like if I was doing this as caricatures or a cartoon. So what features and what sort of paraphernalia should I include in each one to so that you can tell what they are? And it gave me a list, and then I asked it to do like a little rendition of it, and suddenly it's like, yeah, I can do this. It's easy. I mean, I got it all done in like an hour.
Yes. How long would that have taken before? You would have been on Google for days and saving a folder and figuring it out. Like that's exactly what I'm talking about. I
probably wouldn't have taken the commission because I would have been too intimidated by this, just trying to distill. Like, that's not a skill that I have. I'm not a caricature artist. So
yeah,
I understand the concept of like they have like a formula, and then they just add the things that make someone individual. But I don't have the skills myself.
Yeah, but I think you're onto something with the Matryoshka dolls. I think that's I mean, those things were so cool. It was like an iconic thing in the 80s, and I remember it was like Reagan inside of Nixon. It was like a big deal. But you might be onto something with that. Somebody was asking in the comments if you're selling those things at the Saturday market. You might have just closed the loop on a whole new product type, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're time consuming. So at the moment I'm doing them as commissions because they take like a couple of weeks to do.
Where do you go? Does someone sell the nesting dolls?
The doll, the blank dolls, you find them on Amazon. They're like $8 for a set of dolls.
Amazing. And then you just hand paint them and do whatever you do. Wow.
Yeah.
So that would be, you'd obviously have to figure out ways to be able to mass produce that. But I think like it's such a cool concept, those things. I feel like I don't know, you could be onto something with that. I would get those things up onto the web. You probably have to find someone.
I have them.
How would you do them in bulk is what I mean. There's got to be someone.
That I have not figured out. I don't know that I can, and if I could, I don't know that I could compete with the bulk that's created like on Etsy. There's so many.
You wouldn't need to, I mean, it could be your own unique product category. I mean,
that's
and
true.
probably charge $150 a pop, depending.
$250. They're $250 a set.
Yeah. So and that's hand painted, and so maybe like the reproductions could be 100. I mean, Creed is funny. You don't know this, but like Creed is like, how could I say it? It's like a band that's turned into a meme, and they get made fun of like a lot.
I know. I heard they're like Nickelback.
Yeah, they are. Between the two of them, they're like the most made fun of bands. Although the guy, I think his name's Scott Sapp. Is that the lead singer's name? Incredible voice.
I have it written down somewhere.
Yeah, they even played the Super Bowl. So
Oh, really?
Somebody. More than a one-hit wonder, I'll say that, but they've definitely become like a meme type of a situation.
Yeah, a friend of mine described them as a Pearl Jam cover band that kind of made it on its own.
That's probably pretty apt. Definitely not as big as Pearl Jam. Okay, well let's shift gears out of AI land, because Lord knows I would love to stay there all day long. And tell me about Q4. It's coming. Have you started doing your prep? Number one. Okay. Number two, what are you going to do this year differently? Number three, if I went to Hava's Instagram profile right now, would I learn anything about her other than the fact that she's an artist? Answer me honestly.
You would learn that I have a new podcast.
Yes.
You would learn about my, various sort of niche products like the beta fish and the hand painted purses and the nesting dolls. You would learn that I like to go to botanical gardens and nature, and that I'm working on my Halloween costume. You will definitely learn that I take Halloween super serious.
This is exactly what I wanted to hear. This is exactly what I wanted to hear. Yeah.
And you'll learn that I'm getting ready for my exhibition in the fall. So I have like a million things sort of all coming to a head at Q4. What I'm doing right now, one of my products that has been doing really well is this beta fish niche that I've been doing for the past 3 years, or maybe even 4 years. And I create a beta calendar every season. And so I've been like painting, they're right here because I've just been digitizing them actually. Oh, the green screen won't let you see them, but there's like 36 beta fish paintings
Wow.
here. So I'm working on the calendar. I'm working on, there'll be a blog post about the calendar. I've teased it over email, but it's going to go out as like a pre-order now. And actually a fellow Art Storefronts member last year, her name is Karen Cox, a shout out to her. She actually told me that she joined Art Storefronts after seeing our original interview.
No way.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that's a cool little full circle, but and she's very outgoing. She's actually an actor as well. She's in Atlanta, and she started this thing where she's like signing calendars, and it's been going really well for her. So I got one from her, and she did a reel where she, signed it for me, and then posted. And then when I got her calendar, I showed it off and collaborated with her, and then she ordered one from me and asked me to sign it. So I did that, and because of it, I sold like 15 more calendars. Because the people who are not part of the beta fish community, because they wanted a signed calendar. So this time around, I've already teased it. I already let my followers know that it's coming, and you can pre-order a signed one. And so that's the first step. I also have like my regular art calendar that I need to start working on. I have the things that I prep myself for Q4, like the self-fulfillment things that I do are sets of greeting cards and the calendars. I think that's mainly it. But there's some seasonal products like ornaments that I have available for Q4. And so I'm sort of updating those. I would say there's a part of Q4 that at this point, it'll be my 5th Q4 that I'm participating in. And every year I go into it thinking like, oh, I'm a pro, I can do this. And about halfway through, I'm like, holy shit. Oh my God, this is so much. But there's I do have like a mental checklist. I'm going to have my posts scheduled like the regular posts scheduled all the way through the end of Q4, because Copilot lets you do that. So you can add your own posts, and then Copilot will add even more posts. And so that way I can focus on the things that have to happen like daily, like doing the reels and promoting products. And I'm getting a couple of blog posts ready that AI is helping me do. One is going to be a kind of like gift shop, what do you call it? Like I'm blanking out on the word, but kind of a primer of like, here's what's available, here's what to think about, here's how to order, that kind of thing. I'm going to have, a bunch of like smaller emails that leading up to Q4, I'm kind of ramping up my romance emails just to kind of give my followers some value, a reason to, so that they don't feel so put upon when it starts to become like all sales. But it has to, and you have to embrace that. It's always a thing that's a little bit hard for me to be a salesperson, but
all artists struggle with this.
Yeah. But the thing is, I over the years now, I have learned from my followers, those who like write back, and it sounds like for the most part they are thankful that I reminded them that there was a coupon, or they're thankful that I've gave them some suggestions or options, and they're just really thankful to have to be able to purchase from me. And so I do think, and I know it sounds like that a lot of it is in my own head, and that how it comes across if I maintain and project this sort of like attitude of, this is what I do, I love what I do, if you love what I do and would like to have something from that, here's what available, and guess what, it's on sale, so this is a great time to get it. And if it's somebody who wants to buy, it resonates with them. If it's somebody who doesn't want to buy, well, fuck them. It doesn't matter. They're gonna like tune me out anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
No, it does not.
Yeah,
you can't please everybody. Like,
exactly.
you have to take a stand, especially in a business. Like, the sheer number of people that evaluate everything that they say and everything that they do through the lens of like, is this going to offend some of my people, or is this going to be off-putting to some? Mm-hmm. Like, you can't boil the ocean. You can't boil the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much, like I was saying this on a podcast yesterday. It's like the greatest thing the internet has done in a macro is made it easier for every tribe imaginable, tribe being a proxy for niche interest categories, hobbies, for every tribe imaginable to be able to flourish and find their people, and the more of those things that you can tap into, and the more of those things you can expose yourself to, and the more of those you can speak their language, the more it opens up who you are as an artist, who will follow you, who will get bonded with you, and ultimately who's going to do business with you. You know, so it's not easy to get to that point in life, but I'm very impressed with the fact that you're thinking about it this seriously as we sit here August 21st, because that's the most important thing. Like, look, it's a marathon. Okay. No one's saying that it has to be your fastest marathon ever. All we're saying is start doing some short runs and getting ready now,
And you don't want to leave, money on the table, because I know that they, like, I now have enough experience to know that there's a lot of people who wait until, Black Friday to shop. I'm one of those people. I have a running list on Amazon and other places. I'm like, well, I can wait till Cyber Monday to see if I'm going to get an even better deal. It's just, that's just the nature of it. There are some people who like I've had some patrons of mine who, bought something and it was, they missed the sale. So I would send them a coupon, like, just because, and a couple of them like didn't want to use the coupon. They didn't use it. They didn't feel like they wanted me to like collect the full price. So I do have some people like that. On the other end, I also have some that are very thankful for the coupon and complete the purchase. And I think both of those things work well, because at the end of the day, like, the $10 that somebody saved is not the thing that's not my bottom line.
No, number of new customers acquired per year. That is the metric, and it compounds every single solitary year, which is huge. Go ahead.
I just remember this. So last season, I accidentally stumbled upon like the seasonal art category. And it wasn't something I was really participating for before, specifically because, I'm Jewish. I don't celebrate Christmas. And so for me to like, if I tried to make art that was sort of Christmassy, it looked ridiculous.
Yeah,
but
it wouldn't be authentic.
But part of the Beta Fish group, we had this sort of like challenge, show your beta doing something seasonal. And so I just, like, on a whim one evening, I just did a fun little painting of my red beta fish lighting Hanukkah candles. And it was kind of like even rough, like that night. I posted it to my Facebook page just to say, like, I'm working on this fun thing. Went to bed. In the morning, there was a message from, a collector saying, can you have like this made onto greeting cards? I'd like to get like 20 greeting cards. She ended up getting placemats, paper placemats. So that's a new product that I have now, and I sold more of them. And then it became like a greeting card that I sold quite a bit of. And I ended up getting a bunch of those greeting cards myself to send out to my my collectors as a thank you for the holidays. And so now it's a thing, and I have this available as the artwork available even as an ornament, because why not?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it opens up this whole thing, and it was so organic the way it happened. So there was nothing forced about it, and it just became a really fun thing that I can build on.
Those are absolutely the best stories. And that's, it's funny because I hear you say that, and then I sit through so many meetings internally at Art Storefronts where we're talking about what our strategy is going to be, and what are we going to do, and how are we going to grow the business, and what are we doing about Q4, and and everybody comes up with ideas, and we should do this and we should do that, and depending on whose idea it is, they have a ton of conviction in their idea because they really believe in it, right? And you sit there, and it's sort of like, kind of like you're making bets at the poker table, right? But there's only one person playing the hand, and all of us say, okay, well, what do you want to do? What bet do you want to make? What bet do you want to make? What bet do you want to make? And the reality is that they're all good bets. They're all good bets. They're all equally good. They all equally have a great shot of making it. And if you learn anything in business over like the years and years and years, the hits are never the ones that you think are going to be the hits. They're never the ones that like you think in your mind, like, oh my gosh, this is such a great idea. I've got to do this. Now, don't get me wrong. You can have sparks of creativity and it can be great. But in my experience anyway, I mean, take for instance, the podcast. There are ones where I'm like, oh my God, that podcast episode was an absolute banger. This thing's going to kill. It's going to be so incredible. It gets released. It's crickets. And then this one other thing that you did on a whim and you didn't even put a ton of thought into it, and it came out, and you're looking at your download numbers and you're like, oh my God, that's the most popular thing I've ever put out.
Yeah.
And where I'm going with that is that the way to win is just controlling the level of your output. Stated another way, how many things have you shipped, right? Mm-hmm. Already we've talked about your Matryoshka dolls. Already we've talked about beta fish lighting candles. And by the way, I'm an owner. I am an owner of a beta fish now. My son wanted to get one. By the way, what a like loves attention animal. Like anytime.
Oh my God, yeah.
They swim right up. Is that a normal thing with these guys?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, they do. They do a little dance when they know they're gonna get fed.
Yeah. I mean, my wife, I don't want to go too far down the beta fish tangent, but it was in my son's room because my son was just begging about it forever and ever and ever. And my wife, this says something about who I am as a husband. My wife is so enjoying the attention of the damn thing. She moved it out of that room and put it into like a in the living room, so that when my wife walks by, she could just get that little bit of attention, because every time the fish is so happy. Anyway, I know I'm going to tell her that story. I want to see more on your Instagram, okay, than just art. And I've lit you up for this before, and I'm going to do it again. Love that you were in the Vogue magazine. Amazing, right? But I scroll here, and I get down to the one Hava Halloween prep, which I absolutely love, which is hilarious. And people are diehard about this. I just want a little more Hava. Yeah. And see, there's Hava not being so artsy unless you.
Yeah, that's my Halloween costume for this season.
So this is me not knocking you. I mean, you're crushing it on there with 25,000 followers. But I definitely want to see more of the out and about Hava. What does she do when she's not creating art? And again, being able to ask yourself the question, and I'm a broken record on this, and I've been hammering it. My last episode on the podcast was all about it, which is challenge yourself. What can I post this week that has absolutely nothing to do with my art? What can I post this week on Instagram, on Facebook by proxy, that has absolutely nothing to do with my art? Because again, it's just one of those disparate categories that is going to open things up and attract audiences that you didn't even know that you had, right? Or you didn't even know that were out there. But anyway, that's just me needling you a little bit.
I did. A friend of mine asked me to paint his guitar. He had this flying.
Nope, doesn't qualify. It's art.
Yeah, I know, but it got me a whole bunch of attention from like people who I usually don't interact with, and I'm hoping this Crete Matryoshka doll will do the same. But it's still my art. It's still my art, I guess.
It's still your art. Exactly. And don't get me wrong, it works 100% of the time it's tried, right? And like, you know, the analogy that I give is that the amazing thing that Instagram has done is just put all of these disparate people with all of these disparate interest categories and get them all online and gather all this information about all of us, which is, I know, a little draconian and creepy, but they know who responds to and who likes what, right?
Yeah.
They just know. They just know.
I know.
And
that's crazy.
then, as a result of the competition with TikTok, Instagram now will take whatever you're posting. It will look at it and it'll go, based on my data, I know the people that are going to respond to this, right? So while my challenge to you is I want to see some additional stuff that you do in your personal life that is not all related. Yes, challenge accepted. But it also does work. Yeah, but it also does work.
Yeah.
With the width and breadth within the art, right? So it's like all of a sudden you had a guitar going on, right? And you don't normally have guitars going on in your work. Now you had a guitar going on in your work with the combination of art, and Instagram looks at that and goes, whoa, this is new. Okay. Now I'm going to go show this to a bunch of people that have never been exposed to Hava, that don't know she exists, and see what I get, right? And so each one of those are just essentially arrows that you're firing. And some are going to hit the target, and some are going to miss, and some will attract people that are never going to buy your art, and that's all good. But just spreading the width and breadth out makes such a difference. But okay, we're 36 minutes in. It's going to cut us an hour.
Oh,
I want to talk about your new podcast. We should say there was a stepping stone to your podcast. And not to go too much inside baseball, but we have Zoom sessions internally for our customers at Art Storefront. So we've had them basically right about COVID. We launched them, and we call them office hours. And it's since morphed into Tuesday, Thursday is office hours, and then another day is like art marketing 101. About what, like a year ago now? Did you start this?
It was after our conversation at the interview. That's where it came from.
Wow. And maybe that was almost a year ago, but you started your own internal session at Art Storefronts. And I want you to tell us about it, called the Breakfast Club.
Yes.
And what I love about it is, like, you know, one of the knocks you could say about Art Storefronts, and I'm not taking it personally because it's my personality, it's the CEO's personality, is that we are full-time sports analogies, bro this, bro that, high energy marketing business advice, and never shut up about that, right? And it's all good. That's who I am. I'm not gonna apologize for it or complain about it. But I understand that you guys don't want to be banged over the head all the damn time with marketing messages and marketing advice and do more marketing. And we've of course needed to introduce some feminine mystique into our entire operation and a different viewpoint on how things look. So that will tee up the Breakfast Club. Tell me what that session was about, kind of what you talked about, and how long it's been going and all that kind of stuff.
So it started, like I said, it started because when we had our podcast last time, you asked me what I would, what's missing. And what I said, what's missing is an opportunity for us artists to discuss our practice, our challenges that are not necessarily, how to post a reel or how to do a discount, things that have to do with art making and running a business, but as an artist, as a human being. And so I was given this opportunity to start a new webinar for Art Storefronts members. I called it the Breakfast Club because it was in the morning, and because I'm an 80s kid, so
me too. I love that movie, all-time classic.
And it's been really successful. It's every other week. Usually I try to come up with a topic. So we've had topics that I would introduce at the top of it's a 2-hour session usually. We've had topics like, how do you define your style, or do you even need a style? We've had topics about how to get over a creative block. We've had topics about our challenges, our successes. We talked about technology. We've talked about branding as from the artist standpoint, and everything in between. And one of the things that I find really amazing about these sessions, and so I talk, I introduce the topic, I usually kind of give my perspective, like the reason why I wanted to talk about this particular topic, and then I open it up and people raise their hands and kind of tell their side of it. There's people who are regulars and always speak up as well, and I've gotten to know them really well. We're basically friends now,
Mhm.
and one of the things that I discovered, and this is possibly my own kind of like thing, but I would see people in office hours, and they would, people who join the office hours Zoom call are usually people who are just starting up, and they have very basic questions. And so you're seeing them in this light where you're not seeing the artist. You're seeing a person who's trying to like figure out marketing and figure out Instagram and figure out the technology. And, you're just seeing this one very thin, but very like obvious, like side of a person.
Yeah.
But this gives all of us an opportunity. Like there's people who've had amazing careers in advertising, in technology, in architecture, in everything, come from all walks of life, lots of different experience, lots of different perspectives. And it's, there's so much information. Like I walk away from every single session feeling really inspired. And
Wow.
especially sessions where I start out by saying like, I'm having a lot of challenges with like a work-life balance right now, or I've just been in a creative block and a slump for the past 3 months. And other people talk about like they're in a similar place. Some will say like, here's what I've done, this helped. And, and sometimes just knowing that you're not alone, that the things that you're going through, you're not the only one going through them, that in itself helps take the pressure off. Other times, we sort of lift each other up, or else like give each other challenges. And so it's been something that I really, really look forward to every couple of weeks when we have this session. And it's what I believe that I speak for others who also say that they look forward to the session. They always get a lot of value out of it, an opportunity to talk about things that they know, an opportunity to vent about things that they can't talk to their family about because nobody really understands the life of an artist. Yeah. And, and an opportunity to bond. Like it really, really feels like a community. And the closest analogy I have is when I was in grad school and we had our grad studios, and it was a place we can come and like hang out and talk about art, talk about ideas, talk about, classes, just have a sense of you're not alone on this journey. So that's the Breakfast Club.
I love it. And
Yeah.
so we've now pivoted from the Breakfast Club to you are now a podcaster, which is amazing. And I'm going to pull your podcast up on the screen so everyone can see it. It's called I Love Your Stories. And what does the tagline say? So conversations with artists and creatives with Hava.
Yes.
And already rocking in terms of episodes. You've got, this is you're gonna quickly be on the road to embarrassing me with this publishing pace. Really putting the heat on me. Thanks for that, Hava. But it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on YouTube, basically anywhere and everywhere that you could potentially find podcasts. And yeah, so give us sort of the vision of the show. So I assume it's just sort of the logical next iteration of the Breakfast Club, but for the public at large.
Yes. One-on-one conversations. From the beginning, I kind of I didn't want to just talk to artists, because then it can very quickly become sort of too incestuous about like what we're talking about. And I always had this sense that if I'm talking to somebody who is not really, doesn't do visual art possibly, but we touch upon similar ideas. So I've talked to a writer, I've talked to a filmmaker, I've talked to a martial arts master, and
Wow.
yeah, that's the I really love that. He's a friend of mine, and he, when he's a friend of mine, he's a also a client of mine. He's bought my art, and he's bought it himself. He's bought it as gifts, and so we get together and we talk, and we talk about just starting a business, being an entrepreneur, and just motivation, and just mastering the thing that you're really passionate about, and and I find that what we focus on is very similar. And sometimes it takes hearing it from a different perspective altogether, somebody that comes from a very different direction, very different context. And yet here we are talking about something that both of us, it resonates with us. And, my gut tells me that if it resonates with me, it probably will resonate with others. And kind of the feedback I've been getting is, yes, that's the case. When I started, I was approaching each one with, and I talked to a musician as well, a classically trained musician who now does improv. That episode isn't out yet. But what struck me is that she thinks about composing music the same way that I think about painting a picture, a painting. And it's so similar that it was kind of amazing. I never really thought about it that way, but it made me think about music differently and made her think about art differently. And but one of the things that's emerging as kind of a thread throughout all the episodes that I'm sort of starting to kind of work around as a main theme is this idea of transformation, of having pivotal moments in your life that you look back and say, like, this, this is where things changed, big breakthroughs, like, they don't just kind of come out of thin air. Like they start someplace, and a lot of times what I've discovered, and I've known this about myself, but I'm discovering it with others, is that so often the thing that you can say, this was a big breakthrough for me, this was a big pivotal moment, this is when my career started, typically what preceded it was something that felt like a total disaster, like, and and that is, it's such a universal theme at this point. Like, the more I talk to people, the more I see that. And of course, what it does is it helps me deal with, like, when things are really kind of spinning out of control, I sit back and I say, I wonder where this is leading, and how I will think about this moment a year from now, when I'm successful at something that I don't even know that I'm going to be doing yet. That kind of mentality. So that feels to me like this sort of inspirational and motivational angle to the podcast. It's something that makes the conversations more interesting for me, and I feel that it seems like a really nice kind of meta subject for a podcast to have.
I love it. You're a podcaster now. So I love your stories. You guys, go give Hava a subscription. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and YouTube if you want to watch it. And you're doing the majority of your interviews live or recorded, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm going to push you to doing live, but we'll talk about that. You've got it. Recorded. And so you can watch them on YouTube. She's going to get them up to video on Spotify as well. But this is really, really exciting, and I can't wait to see where you go with it. For everyone listening to this after the fact and not watching it live, in the show notes will be links where you can subscribe via YouTube. You can subscribe to Apple Podcasts. You can subscribe on Spotify. Leave her a review. She's trying to get this beautiful podcast up, running, going. There will be a ton of interesting insights from an artist that quit her day job and it is in year 5 of the business, which is a pivotal well, you were in business before, but not under
Not
our
like this.
expert tutelage. Yeah, not like this. Not hitting
like
it hard.
this. Yeah.
Amazing. Can't wait to see where you go with it.
Yeah.
Any final shouts? Anywhere else you want people to check out while they're here, aside from checking out the Matrushka balls?
Oh my God. I feel like I've covered a lot. I want to say that on my podcast, I have talked about AI quite a bit. He's a good friend of mine. He's a documentary filmmaker, Dennis Moore, and I've done 2 episodes with him. The first one, we talked about documentary filmmaking, sort of as a genre and what he's learned and so on, but how it's changed because of the pandemic, and he kind of pivoted towards making AI movies. And then he participated in, I believe this was like the second AI film festival in Amsterdam.
Oh, wow.
And so when he came back, we did like a short follow-up podcast where he just kind of told me about it. And one thing that he mentioned that was a revelation to me, because we've talked in the past about that, and even you mentioned a lot of, especially artists and creative people, really turn their noses because they're seeing AI as something that's just going to take over their creativity or something like that.
Yeah, competition probably.
Yeah, and the thing is like there are some things that AI can do very fast, but it frees you up to do something even better. And if you learn how to use it as a tool. And so Dennis was telling me that right now there's job postings for AI artists within the film industry. Like there's more jobs postings than there are artists applying for them. It's sort of like how, like back when the .com was taking off and they were like plucking kids out of high school who knew how to code. It's, and on a certain level, it's like somebody still needs to drive that car. It's a very fast, very smart car, but it's still just a tool. And somebody with vision and creativity and skill still needs to drive it, because the better AI gets, it's going to sort of like equalize. Like everybody's going to have like perfect copy, text. Everybody's going to have something. It's just going to be across the board. So that's no longer going to be something that stands out on its own. And what's going to end up standing out again is the creativity, is the human element behind, the operator of the AI. And so I found that incredibly motivating and optimistic. And, and it kind of came at a time like right after, you shared the voice print, the artist voice print thing with me. And it sort of turbocharged my own use of AI and showed me like ways in which like, oh, this can really be a tool, something that is going to help me grow my business, and generate new ideas and quickly come up with concepts and, say yes to more projects, because I know I have a tool that, can help me do that, but also like help me find out like, why is my tooth hurting, kind of thing.
Yes. So perfectly stated. We can't win with that. And like, look, ultimately, your guys' superpower is your creativity.
Yeah.
So if anything exists that potentially allows you to spend more time utilizing your superpower and less time utilizing the muscles that you all hate doing, marketing, customer service, sales support, the selling, I just don't see how that is not the biggest win for humanity, period, let alone what that's going to do for individual artists, photographers, and creators in their business lives, and fulfill your dreams. I mean, I don't see it as anything different than that.
And this year with, between Art Helper and Copilot, all that Q4 prep is just, it's going to get done. Like, I just need to sit down with a big cup of coffee and do it, but I can get it done in one afternoon, I think. If I really put my like the prep, all the sort of the stuff that's like the baseline. Like if after that I just fall asleep and do nothing, I'm still running a decent campaign. So everything above that is my own, what I bring to the table in the moment that no one else can. So yeah, if you don't, if you're not using AI tools and some scheduling, platform, Copilot is perfect because it's right, like all your stuff is already there, and you can do it from the beach on your phone.
From anywhere if you're so inclined, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Hava, I cannot wait to see where you go with this. We got to cut this thing because we're going to get kicked off of our stream. Instagram the lane, make it longer than 55 minutes or make it longer than an hour. Links to everything. You guys follow Hava's podcast. I really, just based on how successful her internal sessions have been in the Breakfast Club, I have the feeling that her message, her mind, her eyes, the way that she sees the world, you guys, a great many artists already finds very interesting. So can't wait to see where you go with it, Hava, and good luck and have an absolutely wonderful Q4.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Links in the show notes for everything that you need, and have a great rest of your day.